287 tech workers got laid off in 2022 and 2023 combined, according to Layoffs FYI. But here is what they are not telling you. While everyone is panicking about AI taking over, smart developers are quietly building six-figure freelance businesses by choosing the right niche. I am going to show you exactly why 90% of developer freelancers pick the wrong niche and stay broke, and the simple framework that separates the six-figure earners from everyone else. Listen, if you are a software engineer watching this video, you probably felt the knot in your stomach lately. You may have survived the latest round of layoffs at your company. Maybe you didn't. Either way, you are starting to realize something that I learned the hard way during my transition from a DevOps engineer to a business owner. Your job security isn't as secure as it once was. Here's what I discovered that changed everything. While everyone else is fighting over the same corporate positions or competing on platforms like Upwork for $15 an hour gigs, there's a small group of developer freelancers who crack the code. They are not just surviving this tech downturn, they are thriving it. And it has nothing to do with being better programmers than you. By the end of this video, you will understand the exact niche selection framework that separates high-earning freelancers from everyone else. I will show you the 3 critical mistakes that keep 90% of developers trapped in feast or famine cycles. And I will give you a practical system for identifying your most profitable niche, the one that clients may pay premium prices for. However, first, we need to discuss why traditional career advice often leaves talented developers financially strained. If this resonates with you so far, hit the like button. It tells me you want more content like this. Here is a sobering statistics from the Freelancers Union. 96% of freelancers never break 6 figures annually. That is not because they lack skills. Most of the developers I know can build complex applications that companies desperately need. The problem is they are building their prison without realizing it. Let me paint a picture that might feel familiar. You wake up, check your bank account with that familiar anxiety, wondering where your next client will come from. You are incredibly talented. You can architect cloud infrastructure, build scalable applications, or solve complex problems that keep CTOs awake at night. But somehow you are still stuck in this exhausting cycle. 1 month, you are booked solid, working 60-hour weeks, feeling like you finally made it. The next month, crickets. Your pipeline goes dry. You are back to scrolling through jobs boards at midnight, sending cold LinkedIn messages to strangers, and accepting projects that barely cover your rent. According to Upwork's data, the average freelancer on their platform earns between $30,000 to $60,000 annually. That's despite having skills that Fortune 500 companies pay $150,000 or more for full-time roles. This clearly tells us that this isn't a skills problem, it's a positioning problem. Here's what this looks like in practice. I know this firsthand because I've lived it myself as a DevOps engineer trying to freelance on the side. You are constantly switching between hunting for the next project and delivering on current ones. You cancel family dinners for midnight deadlines. You haven't taken a real vacation in 2 years because you can't afford to stop billing hours. The emotional toll cuts deeper than most people talk about. You feel guilty saying no to low-paying work because what if nothing better comes along? You watch other developers on Twitter seemingly thrashing it while you struggle to string together consistent month. But here's one thing that would change your perspective completely. The developers who break through this ceiling don't do it by working harder. They do it by choosing better. A study by Constantly found that freelancers who establish systematic processes retain 80% of their clients year over year, while those who constantly seeking new work struggle to maintain relationships beyond single projects. Most freelancers are incredibly talented. The problem is that you are competing in a race where everyone is running on the same hamster wheel. But what if I told you there is a different race happening entirely? One where the rules favor expertise over hours? Drop a comment below and tell me, have you experienced this feast or famine cycle? I will share some additional insights based on what you are going through. Now let's address the elephant in the room that is keeping every developer awake at night: artificial intelligence. GitHub Copilot is writing code. ChatGPT is debugging applications. Devin AI is promising to replace entire development teams. If you are feeling anxious about this, you are not alone. But here is what the doom and gloom headlines aren't telling you. And this comes from my experience helping tech professionals navigate career transitions. AI isn't replacing developers. It is eliminating the commodity work that was keeping you undervalued in the first place. Let me explain what I mean. There is massive difference between a developer who writes code and a developer who solves business problems. AI can generate boilerplate React components at rapid pace, but it can't sit in a boardroom with a struggling SaaS founder and architect a solution that saves company $2 million annually. According to Stackflow's 2023 developer survey, 77% of developers are now using AI tools. But the ones thriving aren't competing with AI. They are leveraging it to focus on high-value work. When I was working as a cloud architect, I wasn't valuable because I could write Terraform configurations or Ansible scripts. I was valuable because I could look at a company's infrastructure and say, why your deployment pipeline is costing you 3 extra weeks per release. And here's exactly how to fix it. Or here's why your firm's architecture was breached due to lack of security vulnerability scans in your source code from public repos. The developers who are commanding premium rates right now, we are talking about $200 to $500 per hour. They are not selling code, they are selling outcomes. They are selling transformations. They are selling peace of mind. This is why niche selection has become more critical than ever. In a world where AI can handle technical heavy lifting, your value lies in understanding specific business contexts that AI cannot replicate. The freelance developers charging premium rates have one thing in common. They position themselves as the go-to expert for solving specific high-value problems. Think about it this way. Would you rather compete with AI and offshore developers for generic web development projects at $25 per hour? Or you rather be the person that fintech startups call when they need to build secure payment processing systems that comply with PCI DSS standards? One of those positions is replaceable. The other is essential. Let me share the 3 mistakes that keep 90% of developer freelancers trapped in low-paying cycles. I made every single one of these myself, so I'm speaking from painful experience. Mistake number 1, choosing based on competition instead of opportunity. Most developers see a crowded niche and run in the opposite direction. There are already so many React developers, they say. The market is saturated. I need to find something with less competition. This is backward thinking. Competition often signals demand. The question isn't whether there are other developers in your niche. It's whether there are enough clients to go around and whether you can differentiate yourself meaningfully. Consider WordPress development. Millions of WordPress developers exist, but Kinsta's 2023 survey shows that businesses spent over $8 billion on WordPress services last year. The market is large enough to support specialized players. The key is to find your angle within the competition. Instead of WordPress developer, you become a WordPress performance optimization specialist for high traffic e-commerce sites. Now you are not competing with everyone. You are the obvious choice for a specific problem. Mistake number 2, going too broad, not to miss opportunities. This was my biggest mistake when I first started freelancing. I positioned myself as a full-stack developer who could handle any technical challenge. Casting a wide net would bring more opportunities. It brought confusion. When prospects can't immediately understand what you do and who you serve, they move on to someone who can. Your brain is wired to categorize things quickly. When someone says, I help SaaS companies reduce server costs by 40% through cloud architecture optimization, that creates a clear mental category. When someone says, I do web development, mobile apps, DevOps, and consulting, that creates confusion. According to a study by Nelson Norman Group, users spend an average of 10 to 20 seconds on a web page before deciding whether to stay or leave. Attention span is even shorter on videos. Now it's 3 to 5% tops. If they can't understand your value proposition at that time, they are gone. Mistake number 3, pricing based on your comfort zone instead of client value. This mistake compounds the first 2. Most developers price their services based on what they think clients will pay or what they would pay for similar work. This is entirely wrong. Your pricing should be based on the value you deliver to the client's business. If your database optimization saves a company $100,000 annually in server costs, charging 10% for that optimization isn't expensive. It is a bargain. I learned this from a conversation with a successful business coach who told me this. Your income is directly proportional to the size of the problem you solve and the urgency with which they need solving. That was very revealing to me. Here's a real example. Two developers both optimize website performance. Developer A says, I will improve your website speed for $2,000. Developer B says, I will reduce your page load time by 60%, which based on Google's research will increase your conversion rate by approximately 12%. For an e-commerce site generating $500,000 monthly, that's an additional $60,000 annually in revenue. Same technical work, completely different positioning. Developer B charges $15,000 and has clients competing to hire them. Which of these three mistakes resonate most with your experience? Drop a comment below and let me know. Now let's get into the framework that changes everything. Most developers approach niche selection completely the wrong way, which is why they often get stuck. They pick something they are passionate about and hope the money follows, or they choose whatever seems to have the most job postings. Both approaches are recipes for staying broke. The profitable niche formula I'm about to share originates from a Japanese concept called ikigai, which translates to your life's purpose. But I have adapted it specifically for developers who want to build sustainable freelance businesses. Your profitable niche exists at the intersection of four circles. Circle 1, what you are naturally good at. This isn't just your technical skills, it's your natural strength. You may be the person everyone comes to when systems break down. You may have an intuitive understanding of user experience. You could explain complex technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. Circle 2, what the market desperately needs. This is where most developers get it wrong. They assume that because they love building mobile apps, there is automatically a market for their services. Market demand isn't about what is cool or trending. It's about problems businesses are actively spending money to solve. Circle 3, what commands premium pricing? Some niches are valuable but low margin. Others are high margin but niche. You want the sweet spot where companies have a budget allocated and pain points are expensive enough that your solution feels like a bargain. Circle 4, what energizes you long term? This is crucial because building expertise takes time. If you pick a niche just for the money but hate the work, you will burn out before you become truly valuable. This is one of the primary factors that leads to burnout. They only follow the money and nothing else. Tap it. Consider all four circles. Here's how this looks like in practice with real examples. Take Sarah, a former front-end developer I mentored. She was struggling to earn $65,000 annually by building basic websites, but she noticed something during her corporate job. Every SaaS company she worked with struggled with user onboarding. Their sign-up to activation rates were terrible. She applied the Ikigai framework. Sarah was good at converting complex workflows into intuitive user experiences. She knew the market need. SaaS companies are losing millions in revenue due to poor onboarding. She applied the premium pricing. Companies were already spending $50,000 plus on conversion consultants. It energized her. She loved seeing user metrics improve. Sarah now specializes in SaaS onboarding optimization and charges $15,000 per project. She has a 6-month waiting list now. Consider Ishmael, a backend developer who specializes in API security for healthcare startups. He went from $75,000 annually to $300,000 annually by becoming the go-to expert for HIPAA-compliant system architecture. Before you commit to any niche, you need to validate demand. Here is the 3-step process. Step 1, the research phase. Browse job listings on platforms like AngelList, We Work Remotely, and even Upwork. Look for recurring pain points in your potential niche. Are companies repeatedly posting the same types of problems? That is a demand. Step 2, the outreach phase. Reach out to 10 potential clients in that niche, not to sell anything, just to understand their biggest challenges. Ask questions like, what keeps you awake at night? And then you add the specific technical challenges that they have. How much does this problem cost your business monthly? Step 3, the prototype phase. Create a simple service offering and test it with prospects. This could be a free audit, a small paid consultation, or a minimum viable solution. Once you pick your niche, stick with it for at least 3 months. Tests under 90 days don't provide sufficient data to make an informed decision. The developers who transform their careers take immediate action on what they've learned. Here is your next step. Complete the niche validation process this week. Research demand, interview prospects, and identify your intersection of the four circles. I have created a detailed six-figure developer freelancer toolkit that includes the profitable niche validation worksheet, complete step-by-step instructions, the exact questions to ask prospects, and guidance on calculating whether your niche can support a six-figure income. You can download it for free using the link in the description below. Remember, the tech industry is changing rapidly. AI is eliminating commodity work. Companies are getting more selective. But for developers who position themselves correctly, these changes create massive opportunities. The question isn't whether you have the skills to build a six-figure freelance business. You do. The question is whether you implement the system that make those skills valuable to the right clients. Before you watch another video, do these three things. Download the toolkit and complete the niche validation worksheet. Subscribe to this channel for more strategies on building a profitable developer career. Leave a comment telling me which niche you are considering and your biggest challenge. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.